And so we've carried these imprints with us, and they become the things that then repeat over and over. They inform the same myths and the same beliefs and the same experiences over and over. So you might be working on version 30 of some original wound that you or your ancestors experienced lifetimes ago or generations ago. And this work is designed to go directly, shamans go directly to that energetic layer and remove those energies at that source so that they're no longer informing you, so that who you are today and what you're experiencing is not a result of what happened 20 years ago or 20 lifetimes ago or 20 generations ago, but it's instead what you're wanting and desiring in the moment and able to ask and receive for freely. So the core process that we engage in to do that work is called the illumination process. We work with my stone people because, of course, in the shamanic traditions, there's no separation of spirit and matter. It's not our Father who art someplace really great, and matter, which is the Latin word mater, which means mother, which is inanimate and no spirit. We know that that's ridiculous, that there's no place God is not, that everything is imbued with spirit and consciousness. So we take advantage of that. The stones that are in my mesa, I have a stone that's 2.2 billion years old. So it's seen every one of your lifetimes, you know. And so these stones have been trained also by my teachers. You know, they've received these rites and transmissions that connect them to a lineage of stone altars that go back hundreds of thousands of years. Just like personally I was initiated by these teachers and connected to that lineage, so that when I show up, they show up. And so all of us, all these non-physical forces of nature, all the forces of nature come to help remove these energies like an energetic enema. We place the stones on your chakras, we track first, we talk about what you want in life, what's going on, and then we track where it might be living energetically in your body. We place the stone, and the stone will mikoui or digest that energy during the illumination process. Nothing for you to do, you're laying there, it's gentle, it's easy. It might trigger some emotions, it might, as the energy's leaving, sometimes it triggers emotions or triggers physical sensations, but it's very fleeting, and you don't have to reprocess it. It's all done on the energetic. And so it's very gentle. And then you do a little bit of the mythic homework to work it through the layers. You do your own mandala, or blow into a stick and burn it in a fire, or bury it in the earth to symbolically let it go. And then you're free of those influences. And you're able to carry on and create the new script, the new destiny, whatever it is that you prefer to have in your experience. So that's the core process, the illumination. And that involves also looking for more crystallized energies that may have been there so long they need to be pulled, they become imprints, and they manifest in different physical ways in your body. And so we pull those things, we pull any energies that do not serve you, that do not belong. And then there's the soul retrieval, which is to find a part of you that might have died when something really traumatic happened, so that you didn't die of shock, a part of you died. A part of you goes and hides back in the womb of the mother. And one of us has to go journey and find that part and bring it back and return it to you, because it's got the gifts and the passions. It's, you know, without it you have post-traumatic stress disorder. This is what happens when we experience something so traumatic that the world just doesn't seem safe. But we can heal that. So we bring that back and we bring in the soul part, and we tear up any contracts that were made when that part of you went missing. You know, for example, the little girl who's abused by her father, and she associates love with abuse because daddy loves me and daddy hurts me and daddy loves me and he hurts me. So they must go together, and that becomes her myth and her beliefs and her point of attraction. So she attracts men into her life that are abusive, and this is well documented in psychology. You know, 30 years later, every one of her relationships is abusive. Well, when we do the soul retrieval, we bring back that little girl, we heal that little girl of that event. We also tear up the contract and change it to love is warm and kind and nurturing and supportive, and that becomes the new point of attraction. So the soul retrieval is extremely powerful. We bring back a power animal whose characteristics and instincts you can embody to help you stay in your power and to be the creator of your experience and to live with those passions and gifts. So those are the core processes. And then there's the destiny retrieval, which is to travel forward in time and find the patterns and the imprints of the preferred destiny, the future you'd rather have, and bring that back and reorganize your luminous architecture so that that's what's informing you and helping you to create your future. And so this is very powerful work. It's done at the furthest upstream first. Then you do the mythic, and then you can do the psychology and the prayer and the meditation, and then the physical, then your life changes. That's how shamans work. It's much easier to work that way, and it seems to be much quicker. in terms of actually making the change. As part of the mythic work of the shaman, we know that there's no separation of spirit and matter, so that we can take advantage of the stone people who've been here for billions of years, or we have the power animals and the plant medicines. And so, for example, the power animals are it's very practical. If I'm having trouble making a decision, I would call on the spirit of cat, of jaguar, of mountain lion, because their medicine, their characteristic is very decisive. When a mountain lion sees a deer, it doesn't go, I don't know if I should eat today. Maybe I should be a vegetarian. I don't know. Maybe God will punish me for... No, they don't go through that. They just look at the deer and they go, food. And they eat. They leap and they eat, and it's all good. Life lives off of life. And another good example of that is if I'm in the middle of a tragedy and it seems horrible, maybe my first love has left me and it's like, oh, this is horrible, I can't believe it. In the West, we'll go on for a whole year like that until we meet someone that's 10 times better and we go, oh, it's a good thing they left me. So it's like, blessing in disguise. But it's only from the broad perspective that we know that. Well, in the indigenous culture, that event might happen. The first love leaves you and you're suffering, it's painful for a while, and then you see a hawk or an eagle fly by and you go, yes, thank you. I remember to look at the big picture, that what seems horrible today could turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to me next week or next year, so maybe I should just relax and get over it. So it's a real quality of life issue. One way to look at it is like nature is a 24/7 therapist. It's just always there for us. Had we been taught, what these things mean, if they taught us this in kindergarten, like they do in the indigenous cultures and the shamanic traditions. So that's the part of the mythic that is very, another very useful thing. It's archetypical. If I go to a tarot reader, for example, which is mythic, they put the cards down to help read what you're likely to be manifesting next in your life, because it's based on that energetic level. It's based on what signal you're sending out. And if there's a card in that reading that says, I'm going to lose everything next year, it's going to be a disaster, I'll take that card out and I'll put in the one I like. And I'll say, that's my new reading. So it's an act of power, but it's taking our destiny into our own hands. It's working on that mythic layer in order to make the changes happen in our lives, in our experience. And so as part of these processes, when we're working together, I'll usually get into an altered state and I'll be able to see the energies and get some of the information that then I can share with you to help at least the understanding piece. And then of course you'll have your own mythic homework to do, which is like the mandala or an altar. Before we do the work together, what I do is I open sacred space. I'll call on all the forces of nature to come and hold a safe and non-judging space. I've been trained as a shaman to do the work, to get to that place of non-judging. So it doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done or what you want. I just want to help you clear the way to being free to ask and receive whatever it is you do want here in this great theater, in this great drama. And so the opening of sacred space is much like a surgeon who wouldn't open you up unless it's a sterile environment. So we're creating an energetically sterile environment to do this work.